Hello and welcome to another session on your Salesforce Pro Suite self-implementation. In today's video, I'm going to give you 6 tips for successful self-implementation. I have done a whole bunch of implementations over the years and I've been using Salesforce for 14 years. So I'm here to give you my best tips for how to get yourself a successful Salesforce launch. So we're going to jump right in. Number 1, you're going to make a plan, and this is going to be a results-oriented plan. Now, I know some of you are going to skip right over this because you're like, I got this, I know, common sense, right? However, hold on a minute, because we know this in our heads, but we don't, as Brendan Burchard says, how does he say it? Common sense is not like common habits or something like that, right? Like, just because it's common knowledge doesn't mean it's common practice. And that might be what it is. And it is so true. So if you want your Salesforce, you're spending probably decent money on it. You want to make it the best, right? So take your time, and what you want to do, just even right now, if you take out a pen and pencil, I know you know it in your head, but you need to write it down because you need to also share this with your team, because your team is going to have different ideas of what their results are, what they're going for, than what you are. So write down, what results are you trying to get from implementing Salesforce? So do that. And then your next step is that you're going to involve your team. So you want to involve your team by bringing them together, again, asking them what their goals are, and again, keeping it in the mindset of needle movers, right? Like, okay, we're tracking more contact information, but why? Like, we need to share, I need access to who your leads are and what you're doing and all this. Okay, but why, right? Get why, and then why again, right? The 5 whys. You need to understand the business reason for why you're going to be moving into this new phase of tracking and sharing this information so that you keep that goal-oriented focus. Third, you need to spend time getting educated. Most of you, again, if you're buying Pro Suite, you're probably a small team. And what I need you to do is focus, make sure you take time to get educated. And again, this will come back to your results orientation, like what you're trying to achieve. Write down the specific areas that you want to get educated on. And then ideally, you can either hopefully we have everything you need in this channel. But if not, that you can take the time to search and figure out what your plan is. And also, don't neglect your other users, right? You might be getting educated, but what are you doing to get your team educated in the same areas that you are, so that you guys spend less time, crossing lines. You want to make sure you're understanding what each other's saying. Number 4, hold each other accountable. I've seen this so often in these small and large teams, right? Accountability really lacks. And you need to just think through a minute, like, what would accountability look like? And what that typically means is, if people aren't entering information in the system, you figure out why, and you figure out if you also need to make sure you share the successes you're getting from the system, because the whole goal is that you're trying to change outcomes of your business. And if you share the successes that you're having with what you're doing, others are likely to follow along. But you need to have, to me, the best way to do this is to have a very short 15 to 30 minute meeting, starting every week. And then you can extend it over time, but set a 15 to 30 minute meeting, where you just go through how it's going, what people are struggling with, what are the roadblocks, and what are the successes. And you keep it short and to the point, and then you meet again the next week. Track and celebrate your wins. So often people forget to do this. They just don't do this because they're busy running the business. But if you can, just take a minute here and plan something. I've seen businesses say, what we're trying to reach these crazy aspirations, these goals. And if you're going to get there, what are you going to do to celebrate? So come up with some ideas. Again, bring your team involved, come up with some plans, and schedule that ahead of time because you're going to have a deadline. And what I've seen people do is they have plans for two. One, if we make it, they have a really big thing. Sometimes they take the whole team to Mexico or to some celebration. And if they don't hit it, then they basically have some sort of kind of celebratory business planning meeting where they have time to talk through maybe why they didn't get there, how do we learn from our failures, what do we need to do next to change, but also it's still a celebration of the progress and the things that you learned, but just not as big as if you had made your goal. All right, and lastly, reach out for support. Salesforce support can be a good resource for you if you must, but honestly, I've found more success in the community, and so don't hesitate to reach out. Hopefully, again, our channel will be a source of support for you, and what we're trying to do with this business is to build a space where other companies can start to collaborate with each other, a mastermind of sorts, right? When I have implemented Salesforce, so many times I felt like, what am I doing? What am I not doing? Like, what am I not using? I would love to see what other people are doing, and I'd love to how are they solving problems? And that's something that comes from having a community of support. And so that's what Catalyst Tech, what we're doing. We're trying to be a catalyst, right? A catalyst for your business where you really see that significant change. A little bit of pride for myself is I feel like I've been able to do that in the companies I've worked with. And so I want to help other small businesses. I just have a heart for small businesses. I want to see them have that catalyst for change that really changes their trajectory of scalability and their future model. And so that's what I would just say is don't hesitate to reach out for support and invest in it when it makes sense for you so that you can get there sooner rather than later. So I hope these tips have been helpful for you. Again, please click the buttons here to subscribe and like and watch our other videos. Hopefully they're helpful to you. Give us comments. We're happy to, we're monitoring those and we'll be happy to support you where we can.